My traditional name is Lois Jesse, and Fox is my clan on my mother's side, and Thunderbird is my clan on my father's side. Why I say that is prior to contact, that's how we would introduce ourselves coming into the different tributaries, really, because our clan system was based on the watershed, and it was also a system of land management with this clan system. So again, that all got disrupted with this, I would say, colonization, capitalization, mercantilism, because again, it ended up having, through history, being displaced off our traditional lands. And what this unceded mean is that we never signed treaty for the land, similar to the treaties of, the number of treaties out west for the expansion of the railroad connected to land. And that's connected to the Royal Proclamation of 1763 with King George, that only Indian lands shall be developed based on treaty. And I said, it's amazing we didn't sign treaty. I said, but every time we saw the newcomers coming, we'd hide in the bush because it's so thick here. No, and I'm very honored though too as well that to be here with also to the Riverkeepers, because it's a safeguard really of the river today, because our ancestors foretold us too that one day water will be more valuable than gold, that not everybody will have the right or access to clean drinking water. And why is that important too as well? I say that too in this Ottawa is at the confluence of the rivers coming from the four directions, which is tied to this medicine wheel, but it represents also a marker in four directions. And I come from Kitigan Zibi, which is, I follow the Gatineau River, we call that Nagadjitòdjig Zibi. Then you have the Ottawa River, we call that Kitchisibi, it flows from the west to the east that way, and we come down here. And then you have over here on Sussex, you have the Rideau River, we call that Pikwàkanagàn. And so we would meet here at the Chaudière Falls and all the islands. That's why you would see the archaeological digs all around here, or sites. And we would talk about what's going on the land, and similar to what you're doing today too as well, and talk about the future for the people. And one of the biggest teachings too as well is with this medicine wheel too, it's a bigger, broader, global understanding that for us it was given the four colors of people on this earth, and that we were all given the original instructions in terms of the caretaking of the land. And I think too, as the two-legged, we haven't been doing a good job. But especially that's why we need the Riverkeeper and all of you here, really. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say a little prayer, but I'll sing a little song. And it's like a warrior song, but a warrior for us is not somebody like a soldier, or a warrior looks after the well-being of the collective. And that's why the organization like the Riverkeeper is so important. So I'm just going to let everybody sit, because it's hard to stand to. It's very cramped, and you can digest your food too. So it's miigwech. On Jenny Nagadjitòdjig Dolcy Conscinon Gomo Mekakina Pamaz Egyptian as well Conche, Jamon Jignan one no Jay and the big Schwenish non in Abigus. Big Wetchojik Kakinaga and Don Jay Mom again in the Kimino. Skaki question cause on the Kimino, we don't go Kakina Pamaz Egyptian Jay Nagadjitòdjig Kakina Guch in the Kimino. Big Wetchojik Kakina Kijiko Keys to be keys is a shit and long shuck. We don't go no Commissioner Jay Nagadjitòdjig Kakina Guch yet maybe. The people sing, see you, Saigon, Kichigaga. Miigwechojik, Ishkode, the Shomson on Ya, Keys on Jay Nagadjitòdjig, and Kakinaguch Yakamaz the Jip. We don't begin in welcome Jay Nagadjitòdjig, and Kakinaguch Ishkode, the Kwawago Jay Nagadjitòdjig, and Kakinaguch Nibi. Miigwechojin a Sarah, Kagimi Shen, Shimino, Hamatzion. We don't Kakina, Mondegate, as opposite, no go Mondegate, Ya COVID-19 Jinkade, Kakinaguch Chimino Mod to watch. Kancheshkwak Migwede Simen, Shitkan and Ochkush Migwede Simen, Vidoka Kakinam on the game of Shumson, on the Gofness, non Shitodin, Ocean, non go on J, the Doganojisha, the Shishkakinagajo and Sisa, Ishki, Nitigog, Kakinagajia, the Natamatsuach. A Shishkakinagajia, we don't quack opposite Jik the Magas, a Jik, we listen to Jikaya, we got a Jik, Chiwana Kiwatch, Chiminopmatsuach, me. Miigwech is thank you in Algonquin. Say merci en Algonquin, and I say that 4 times to honor the 4 directions again, the 4 seasons, the 4 stages of your life. You come from spirit, take your earth walk, like your sun coming up here, and you do your earth walk here into an adult, become an elder in preparation to return back to spirit. And one of the biggest teachings is, yes, we come from the earth and we return back to the earth, but also this represents the 4 elements, the earth, the water, the fire, the air. Without them, we wouldn't survive here. So again, it's that reminder of being caretakers, and why this meeting with the water is so important, because 72% approximately of our bodies is water, and water connects all of us. So on that note, I say miigwech everybody, and I don't know how I'm doing on time, but I'm just going to sing you a quick little song, and I need to roll in this first. It helps me sing better. This is a song where it's just, I'm just going to sing one round, but I have my rattle, we call it Pikwàkanagàn, and we use this in healings too, but it's people going on their business normally every day, but then the second part it goes yeah hey. It's the warrior, like the Riverkeeper researcher today, reminding or warning the people that something is coming, and that something needs to be looked after. So and that's what the Riverkeeper does. They've been monitoring the water. So that's why I'm doing a little honor song for you. So you can join in too, you know. So that's where the first part is just the coming together. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Now, usually you can join in if you want. Go, yeah. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Another time. Ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya. Hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey. And that's where the Riverkeeper says it brings people's confidence back, and everybody's quiet again. Big watch, everybody, and I wish we have a good meeting. Merci.
Thank you so much, Verna, for that wonderful welcome, but also for that beautiful song. Poursuivons cet événement avec quelques mots de Margot Sunter, vice-présidente du conseil d'administration des Garde-rivière du Outaouais, qui s'exprime au nom de Colleen Weinstein, présidente du conseil d'administration.
Thank you. Thank you, Verna. Thank you for sharing that knowledge with us, and it's always great to learn so much more. We have so much to learn from the Algonquins. On behalf of our board of directors, welcome to the Ottawa Riverkeeper annual public meeting. I think we have a couple of board members here, so if you wouldn't mind just standing up, give us a wave. We like waves. We're also delighted to see some familiar faces in the crowd. I know MP Mona Forte was here earlier. I think she's left now, but she did leave a little gift, which we'll hear about. And I think MPP Lucille Collard. Oh, great, thank you. Thank you for putting yourself out. Thank you for coming. So I just want to say, I don't think I'll ever lose the thrill of walking into this building. What an amazing space, an amazing view. Isn't it just beautiful? It's glorious. The annual public meeting is an opportunity to celebrate the past year, share the work of our amazing team at Ottawa Riverkeeper. And again, if that's you today or in the class, please stand and give us a wave. All the staff at the Riverkeeper, so we know who you are. Thank you. And we are so delighted to have this chance to thank our outstanding volunteers who generously donate their time and energy to the Riverkeeper and to our stunning Ottawa River. Some of our volunteers spend time collecting water samples, and others the less glamorous task of collecting litter from our beaches as part of the shoreline cleanup. Some get to share fun facts as the open hours volunteer at our learning lab, or even greet guests at our annual gala. We would not be here celebrating our achievements today without your care and dedication. And I promised last time, if you are a volunteer, past and present, please stand up so we can see who you are and give us a wave. And we're also privileged to have a wonderful network of donors and sponsors whose generosity is crucial to all that we do. Our river champions and the supporters of our new Big River Give, the first ever major fundraising campaign, have been amazing. All of our donors are contributing to the health of our river, and your gift is making a difference now and for the benefit of generations to come. I know that for many people, who you choose to support is private, so don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to stand, but we see you and we thank you. Before I finish, I do want to take a moment to, on behalf of the board, to acknowledge the passing of our honorary Riverkeeper, Murray Sinclair. Among his countless accomplishments, he generously accepted the title of Honorary Riverkeeper in 2017. We celebrate his remarkable life and legacy. Whether a staff, board, donor, or volunteer, we share a vision and we believe in the same cause. So please, take a moment before you leave, share a smile and a few words with those around us. And from all of us at the Riverkeeper, thank you for all that you do.
Merci beaucoup, Margot, pour ces mots inspirants. Nous sommes très conscients de cette communauté formidable. It's now time to thank the sponsor of this event, keeping us well fed and ensuring this event can take place, Dentons. Un supporter de longue date de Garde-rivière des Outaouais, Dentons a une passion pour la protection de l'eau douce et soutient depuis longtemps Garde-rivière des Outaouais en étant le sponsor de notre gala depuis 2015 et le sponsor principal de notre APA depuis 2018. Here to discuss more and to tell us why his organization is so passionate about watershed stewardship, welcome David Little, the national lead of the Dentons Canada Venture Technology and Emerging Growth Companies Group.
Thanks very much for that, Maxim. I will say, we've got a lot of different people of different heights, clearly. I'll just say that my name's David Little. I'm with Dentons, Canada's global law firm. I can promise you all, I'm not going to sing. Verna, that was terrific, and thank you so much. But I am very pleased to be here to offer a few words. As Maxime said, our relationship with Riverkeeper goes back just about 10 years, and Members of our firm have been volunteers. We've sat on the board. We've gone to events. We've eaten many delicious snacks. This is really a terrific organization and group of people, and I'm really gratified to see so many of you here today. I know we're going to hear a lot about what the Riverkeeper has been up to and what it's going to be doing going forward in terms of its plans over the rest of this meeting. But as Verna said, I want to remind all of us that we happen to live where the Ottawa River, the Gatineau River, and the Rideau River all meet. And this is an incredibly large watershed. It's a privilege for all of us and not to be taken for granted. And in fact, it's really one of the major reasons why we have a city here. The location is where these rivers meet, and the surrounding environment and all the water have always supported us and our communities. But like any other natural resource, our watershed needs to be protected. And the Ottawa Riverkeeper plays such a critical role in that. There's protecting, educating, promoting awareness, especially among our youth and our children. And I would say the Ottawa Riverkeeper is a champion of all that. At Dentons, many of our offices around the world are located on major waterways, and this is why we support the Ottawa Riverkeeper and other similar organizations. And I urge, and I know all of you will continue to do the same thing. So with that, thanks for your attention, and thank you for coming.
Maxime, I think I need to change it again. Thank you. David, thank you so much, and thank you to Dentons for that ongoing support. 10 years, a round of applause to Dentons. Miigwech, Verna, for opening us up in such a good way today. My goodness, and an honor song for Riverkeeper. I mean, the work that we're doing is of course very important, but it is so small and such a blip in relation to the long-standing work of water protectors, the Anishnabeg, who have been doing that and doing this for the Kichisibi since time immemorial. And so, you know, I accept your song, but only with the greatest of humility. I am grateful. So, Pikwàkanagàn, bonjour tous, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laura Reinsborough, and I have the honor of being the Riverkeeper and CEO with Ottawa Riverkeeper. It is such a pleasure to share with you a few highlights of what we've been able to accomplish over the last year. Of course, those who are involved with the Ottawa River community are not the only ones working to help protect the water, and so we're going to hear from a panel of speakers who are working on the land later on today. We sent out a survey asking, what do you want to hear the most about? Climate change came up as a major concern. And in fact, so many of the issues that we work on came up as, you know, very important to all of us. And so that's why we decided to go with this kind of community fair style of different booths that you could interact with. I hope you've had a chance to look at those, and there may still be a few minutes afterwards to take that in. So that is sort of a showcase of some of our work, but I want to walk you through some of the highlights. Consider me your news anchor, and I'm going to go through the headlines of what Ottawa Riverkeeper accomplished this year, because it has been a banner year. Okay, first headline. Riverkeeper, I didn't even get it, another real news anchor. Riverkeeper launches watershed report card. If you were at last year's annual general meeting, you might remember we gave a sneak preview of the report card. Oh, this has been in the works for so long, and really, it is the effort of so many people. In fact, many of you here today contributed data and analysis to this report card's findings. It was after years of research, consultation, and analysis that in May of this year, we launched this comprehensive watershed report card. Now, the Ottawa River and all of its tributaries hold incredible importance. The Ottawa River is the single largest tributary to the St. Lawrence. Here we're nested within the world's largest freshwater ecosystem, the Great Lakes St. Lawrence watershed. And the Ottawa River takes up a significant part. And yet, it is an overlooked waterway. There is actually very little that is known about the health of this river. And so in 2018, Ottawa Riverkeeper launched the Watershed Health Assessment and Monitoring Initiative, where through 14 key indicators that encompass categories like primary productivity, biodiversity, physical characteristics, human development, and then also contaminants of emerging concern, that initiative sought to understand and fill those data gaps so that we could have a comprehensive sense of watershed health. We want to understand these valuable insights into the current state of local rivers, streams, creeks, and lakes that each of us holds near and dear. And so with the release of this watershed report card, the watershed received a C. It's a passing grade. It's in fact one of the cleanest capital rivers in the world. But we know that there are so many threats to this river system, and that especially in that category of contaminants of emerging concern, we need to be vigilant to ensure that the river is truly safeguarded. And so though the overall grade was a C, when you look more closely, you see where is it that it's dragging the lower grade down? Where is it that we can celebrate recent successes of improving the river's health? And what we found was that human changes are presenting the most pressing concerns for ecological health. Climate change is one of those. And so that's where we'll hear more in our panel today. Not only has this report card been integral to getting a clear picture of the watershed's health, but it's also been a point of connection, a talking point, when we sit down with decision makers and we can point to the issues of concern. We can point to what the data is telling us. We say with confidence from an evidence-based perspective what the river needs. And in a nutshell, that's how Ottawa Riverkeeper operates. We monitor the health of the river through our own direct research, through the findings of community scientists, and through the data that is out there to analyze it from a watershed perspective. We're able to say, look, here's of concern, or here's where we're doing well, or here's where it needs further attention. And because of that, Ottawa Riverkeeper can then work to spread that message through education, through engagement, hands-on activities, and through advocacy work, holding decision makers to account and ensuring they understand what they can do to improve the river's health. So through our public education work, this year another headline is Riverkeeper opened Learning Lab for its first full season. I'm sure an actual headline writer would make that a little catchier, but bear with me. That this year, actually 5,048 people came in through the Learning Lab and participated in what we had to offer there. We are building the plane as we fly it. We're figuring out what issues we can bring forward in that Learning Lab and how we can engage the public using that space. But what you have actually directly below you today in our Learning Lab space is the first ever public-facing space that Riverkeeper manages. And so in that Learning Lab space, directly adjacent to our Science Lab, right here on the river, we have an opportunity to engage with the public when they're coming to engage with the river. And so to be that intermediary, to help deepen their connection with the river, to have them each walk away having learned something new or appreciated the river in a different way, that holds so much power. Now, a huge headline this year was Riverkeeper launches River School. Now, education has always been a central part of our mission. We know that this work is truly possible when we can rally the support of so many people. For each of us to have that opportunity to value what the river brings to our lives, how it truly sustains us, and to ensure that we can share that and build the next generation of leaders caring about water. Well, we have a firm belief today that if youth today are given that opportunity, then they will be equipped with the tools to become the watershed stewards and leaders of tomorrow. So in 2024, we launched River School. This is our formal education programs where not only do we go to classrooms, but we also now have a classroom here on the river where we can welcome students to the river. They're getting direct hands-on engagement. They're taking water samples, analyzing it in the lab. They're making sense of that of their own, and they're really becoming scientists and learners and building that curiosity about how they can care for the river. L'École de la Rivière intègre la recherche scientifique des programmes de surveillance communautaire de participative de Garde-rivière des Outaouais, avec le double regard, l'éducation environnementale sur la durabilité, des expériences d'apprentissage pratiques, authentiques, et un engagement à l'action collaborative. Because we always want to make sure that when we're sharing about the river, and we're sharing about the issues and concerns that face it, that we're also equipping youth and children with the actions they can take to make a difference. Now, when we launched this program, we really didn't know if there would be much uptake. But by early September, when we sent an email out to the teachers who we have email addresses for, we thought, okay, maybe we can bring 10, 20 classes into River School this year. We've received over 100 requests, and through the diligent work of our education team, and through the support of so many of you in this room today, we're able to say yes to those classes. We're able to meet them in their school classrooms. We're able to even take them out to the waterways close to their schools, or to bring them here to River School, to River House, and to provide that intimate opportunity for them to learn more about the watershed in their own backyards. The water that is the source drinking water for the tap water that they enjoy every day, to make that connection, to reveal the biodiversity with which we share this incredible resource. And so, thank you for your support, because River School is happening. A few years ago, I think it was 2018 maybe, when Riverkeeper Emerita Meredith Brown, she was asked by the Ottawa Citizen to write a piece called Armchair Mayor. Like, if she were the sort of mayor for the day for City of Ottawa, what would she make happen? What bill would she pass? And she said she would start a river school, that Ottawa needed that. And I would argue every single one of the over 300 municipalities in this watershed can benefit by learning so much more about the water that sustains them. I also want to give a shout out to Naomi Sarrazin, who's been a longtime volunteer with Riverkeeper, but also was the first coordinator of education with Ottawa Riverkeeper as staff. And she helped craft this vision for River School. And Julia Ostertag, Maxim, who you've met already, and Jocelyn Sutherland, that the three of them are our education team who are bringing this work forward. At last year's APM, I said you'd hear more about education. This year, whoa, way to go team. And now I also want to share about another big headline we made, about launching our first ever major fundraising campaign. So in June, we had the opportunity to launch and to go public with our campaign called the Big River Give. And this is an opportunity to power these programs that you're hearing about today. It aims to raise $5 million because this is what the river needs. It needs to have a strong power, a force of people caring, of people stepping up to say, we know how important this river is, and we will do what we can to protect it. And it really is predicated on this idea that the river gives us so much. To remember that it's the source of our drinking water. To remember that it sustains so much life. To remember that this is where we gain calmness and centeredness, that the river helps us heal and be connected, and that the river also connects us all. To share in land of a watershed means to share in relation with one another. And so when the river gives us that we have an opportunity to give back. I know that each one of you does that in your own way. And what we know is that this year we're making this ask to give big for the river. Board Chair Emeritus Jeff Green says, "Give her for the river." Okay, that's not my style, but. Healing waters. I think that was on purpose to remind me. We started this year having raised 58% of our campaign goal. We're at 68%. It is climbing each day. And at the completion of this campaign, we'll be able to expand our educational programming for River School, as well as at the Learning Lab, as well as increasing our capacity to bring community groups and decision makers together at the river's edge to ensure that watershed health is always top of mind. I mean, really, the campaign is a celebration of the river we drink from, the stream we fish from, the lake we swim in, the creek we paddle down, and the shoreline where we walk our dogs or cross-country ski or go for a nice calm time. And we are just electrified to be going into the new year with passion for what will be made possible through the realization of this campaign. So as you can imagine, all these programs, they take so much effort, and so I want to share a thank you. A huge thank you to each and every one of you who've donated. Whether you're a river champion, a first-time donor, or if you've been giving all the way back since the organization was founded in 2001, you're the reason that Riverkeeper is able to do this work. If you're looking to dive into protecting the watershed, you're just in time because our year-end fundraising is in full swing. A gift of any size makes a meaningful difference. But I also want to say that as we look to the future, it can be really nerve-wracking to look at headlines that are different than this, headlines about environmental health. But I find so much solace in when we come together and when we connect as a community, because the power of the collective truly is what brings us through. I didn't talk about the community yet, did I? Okay, headline, big headline. Are you ready? I don't even know how to make this headline. There's no way to put words to this. But so let's see. Indigenous youth build a traditional birch bark canoe from the forest to the river. 585 hours spent learning from knowledge holder Pinnock Smith, building the canoe, harvesting materials, coming together here at River House in the Learning Lab, sometimes with the public coming through and watching, also going up to Pinnock's workshop and working on it in Kitigan Zibi. This has been a labor of love. It has taken 2 full seasons, and today Not only is the canoe here finished, a complete project on show behind you, but also it went in the water for the first time. It went in the river, in the Nagadjitòdjig Akì, and this is such a teaching. This is a teaching that Pinot shares very generously, that we do not make a canoe for it to be a display, an artifact. We make a canoe for it to be connected with the water. And so today, that very special moment took place when the canoe was first brought into the water here, and that is a very momentous occasion to share. The plan is that the canoe will be on show in our learning lab, so that folks can come to River House and have that as a point of seeing and appreciating the craft that goes into this ingenious invention. But also that the youth who helped build it can come use it on the water. And so that's a huge headline to share today. So thank you so much also to the volunteers who are at the core of all of this work. I also want to share a thank you to the staff team. I just love working with you all. And I also want to share thank you to our volunteers that hot off the press, we've crunched the numbers for over the last year. And volunteers, you have given over 6,000 hours in making this work happen. Many of you are involved in one snippet of what I've just shared, and so I hope that as you see that full picture come together, that you understand the true difference that you're making in supporting Riverkeeper, in being part of this community. And I'm just blown away by that fact, 6,000 hours. So thank you, and let's continue on with the program.
Thank you, Laura, for this fantastic report. We've had a busy year, and like Laura said, we cannot wait to see what the future has in store for this community. As you know, it takes a watershed to protect the river. And to make all the fascinating programs that Laura discussed happen, it takes the time and skills of volunteers. They are the ones who make the difference. Vous êtes tous des incroyables supporters du bassin versant. Et à nos yeux, vous êtes tous des gagnants. Today, we want to take a moment to recognize a couple of volunteers who continuously go the extra mile and have made waves of impact in the watershed, with each winner receiving a lovely gift from Maker House Co. The first award we're thrilled to share is the Youth Leadership Award. This is the first year we are presenting this award category. It recognizes the outstanding contribution of young volunteers who have demonstrated exceptional dedication and leadership in protecting the health of the Ottawa River watershed. Ce prix célèbre l'énergie, la créativité et les perspectives diverses que ces jeunes apportent au programme des Garde-rivière. Les récipiendaires sont ceux qui ont su démontrer un leadership qui dépasse les attentes et qui inspire les autres de par leurs efforts envers la protection de l'eau. This year, we are celebrating 3 incredible youth leaders who happen to be sisters, Dani Mambo and Noali Malang Kapakala. These sisters have been incredibly dedicated to not only upholding but also celebrating their roles as knowledge holders. Ensemble, elles ont fait plus de 300 heures de bénévolat à construire le canot traditionnel algonquin en écorce de bouleau que l'on peut voir au fond de la salle. From assisting in gathering materials to gummy the edges and everything in between, these dedicated youth have shown their commitment to preserving these traditional crafts for generations to come. As helpers with the Assemblée of 7 generations, these women are not only showing their own desire to promote the well-being of the watershed and the traditional knowledge surrounding it, but using their position to empower the other community members as well. Please give a roaring river round of applause for Tammy, Mambo, and Noel.
Did everybody catch that? Between the three of them, they contributed over 300 hours in building the canoe.
And I had the chance to contribute to the building of the canoe with them, and honestly, they've been working so hard. Congratulations again. Now, notre prochain prix est le prix de l'impact communautaire dans le bassin versant. This award recognizes a volunteer who has worked on a specific river issues, shown exceptional commitment to watershed protection, and aids their community in getting out on the river. This year, sorry, it's the wrong page. Le gagnant est quelqu'un qui incarne l'esprit de la protection du bassin versant en mettant l'accent sur l'implication de la communauté dans leurs efforts. This year, we are proud to present this award to Stephen Ferguson. As a proud member of the Friends of the Gatineau River, Stephen is dedicated to being the eyes and ears of the Ottawa River. De par ses efforts et son dévouement, Stephen est un formidable défenseur de la rivière. As a key part of his support, Stephen is a regular contributor to the community-based monitoring program, specifically supporting the road salt monitoring program. Beyond his support in the water monitoring, Stephen also uses his skills in captaining the Ottawa River boat for various science projects, showing his skills in a variety of areas. En se consacrant à la fois à la compréhension et à la fréquentation de la rivière, Stephen fait preuve d'un engagement clair en faveur de l'amélioration et de la santé à long terme du bassin versant. Can we please give is Stephen here? No, Stephen is not here, so I will go give him his prize in person myself. And last but certainly not least, we have the Daniel Brunton Outstanding Volunteer Award. Ce prix reconnaît un bénévole qui a apporté une contribution significative à Garde-rivière. The winner of this award contributes a high number of hours volunteering for Ottawa Riverkeeper specific events and projects, as well as a long-term, ongoing commitment to supporting the organization. We are so happy to present this year's Outstanding Daniel Brunton Outstanding Volunteer Award to Blake Corbin. Blake est un bénévole de longue date qui a offert son temps et son soutien dans le cadre d'une série d'événements et d'opportunités. As an outreach volunteer, Blake has supported Ottawa Riverkeeper by representing the organization at key events, including the NAC Sphere and a nice fishing tournament. Blake is also a fantastic guest speaker and auctioneer, cultivating bids and promoting prizes at the inaugural Riverkeeper Classic. He hosted our live auction with skills and expertise. On the science side of things, Blake has been a river watcher since 2016. As a river watcher, Blake not only collects water samples and supports the investigation into the well-being of the watershed, il est également fier de défendre les intérêts de ses voisins en travaillant avec les autorités municipales sur des politiques de déneigement plus respectueuses de l'environnement et en partageant ses connaissances. We are so lucky to have such a knowledgeable and passionate supporter and advocate for the river. Everyone, please give it up again for Blake Corbin. And now I invite Laura to continue the presentation.
Well, thank you so much and congratulations to those volunteers. You are all such superstars, and we are so lucky to have you. Today we had hoped to be able to present the Water Leader Award. But unfortunately, we had to postpone that presentation as there was a family emergency that came up for the recipient. So we'll hold them in our heart and hope it all goes well, but we'll save that for a later time. So that means we're moving right now into the panel, and I would like to welcome Larissa Holman, who is Director of Science and Policy with Ottawa Riverkeeper, to the stage. She'll be hosting a discussion on climate change, but specifically of what is happening on the land, what we're seeing in this territory. So please give a warm welcome to Larissa.
As many of you already know, this spring we published our most comprehensive analysis of the Ottawa River and its tributaries to date. Using the 14 indicators for watershed health, we have tracked for years. The 2024 Watershed Report Card contains much to celebrate, alongside trends to monitor and reasons for concern. It also, unfortunately, reinforces how the data indicates that climate change is influencing the waterways in this watershed. This is an opportunity to learn about how these changes are impacting different areas of the watershed from a couple of people who have been working to understand how these changes are impacting the unceded lands and waters of this watershed. It is a great privilege to welcome the panel for today. Amber Hein is a Guardian Program Coordinator with Algonquins of Pikwàkanagàn First Nation, and Dolcy Meness is a Nagadjitòdjig Akì from Kitigan Zibi. Casey McLaren from Pikwàkanagàn First Nation was also supposed to make it for today, but unfortunately, she also had something come up and was unable to attend. So with that, I'd like to welcome Dolcy and Amber to their seats, and we'll move over to the side to have the questions.
We're going to keep it cash for the panel.
So how many people here have heard of the Guardians program? Oh yeah, there we go. So I have a great privilege of being able to go out and help collect samples with folks who work with Guardian programs or work with Algonquin communities and are part of those communities. And so we thought this would be a really great opportunity for people here to hear more about the Guardians program and to learn a little bit more about what value these programs bring to their communities. And so maybe we could start with Dolcy and what you would like to share about the Nagadjitòdjig Akì and your understanding of the land and water and how hard it is to learn Algonquin.
So yeah, the Guardian program is a nationwide Indigenous land initiative. So originally it started in BC, and it started with the Watchman program, which they've been doing for 20 years. And then it's slowly made its way to the east side. There's currently 3 Indigenous Guardian programs in Quebec, which is pretty good. KZ was I think one of the first ones to have that kind of program. So basically what it helps us do is that for the communities, they can do environmental monitoring and having that true two-eyed seeing approach. So the use of traditional knowledge along with the science part to help make the language so that everyone else can understand. I like it. I've been there for 3 years so far. I've worked with Ottawa Riverkeeper since I started. So that deals with doing a lot of water quality testing all over in the territory. So that's about like near Domaine Shannon with Vendée Park. We got Papineau Belle in the south. We've got the Ottawa River, of course. We also have on to the east near Mont Tremblant, and to the west we have about Pembroke, Sheboro area. Me and my co-worker Nadine Meness, who's sitting in the back. We were up for this month 3 weeks straight, just patrolling the land, looking for whatever we see, called vets, testing the water quality with a fancy machine called the YSI, which gives us on readings like right away, so that's pretty neat to use. Yeah, so far.
And Amber, your role is a bit different as the coordinator of the Guardians program, and it's a relatively new program for Pikwàkanagàn. Why is it important to have members of Pikwàkanagàn collecting data for the community and supporting decision making?
So I just want to first say much for having me here. There was something that Laura said in her chat that really hit home for me, and it was building the plane while flying it. It's just that just kind of summarized the whole last year of Pikwàkanagàn's Guardian program development. It's a lot of work to develop a program, and it takes a lot of effort. And so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that first because yeah, for the last year, that's what our focus has been. It's been on training our members to fill the role on the ground. And then the other side of that is ensuring that you have the proper protocols and policies in place to run your program. So strategic planning was a big part of our last year, making sure that we knew where we wanted to go and how we were going to accomplish that. So yeah, I just wanted to touch about that because that's mostly where we've spent most of our time, but really excited to grow and get into the work that you know we should be doing and will be doing on the ground. And to the second part of your question, I think as Algonquin people, we have this inherent responsibility as stewards of the land, and you know, colonization has disrupted the way that our knowledge would be passed down, right, with residential schools and also the reserve systems. So the Guardian program, they help to fill that like impact to the way our knowledge was traditionally passed down through the generations. So it's really important to have our members collecting and, you know, preserving our elders' knowledge because we're losing our elders' knowledge, and we've lost so much. So having guardians who can document their knowledge and, you know, the elders trust who they're sharing that knowledge with, and it really promotes the community that we're trying to bring back.
That's amazing. Yeah, there's so much in the Guardians program that is not just about collecting water quality data and learning and that community piece. So yeah, really awesome. In our watershed report card, which was based on data that was collected from provincial data sets, but also through community-based monitoring programs, we really highlighted how climate change is having influence on the rivers in this watershed. And I was wondering from either of you, with your experiences of, you know, the very sexy strategic planning part, may not be getting into this, but it is a key part to it, is like how is climate change impacting the rivers and the land? And again, what is the role for Guardians be playing in understanding with these trends? And what, personally, if there's something that you'd like to share about what you're seeing when you're out there that you think other people would benefit from hearing?
What was the question again? Like, what do I see?
Are you saying I went on for too long? What are the ways that climate change might be impacting the rivers and the land, and the role of guardians in understanding and addressing these trends?
All right, so the way that climate change is affecting the land, just Thursday, I just went down on my res down into Eagle Forest, and I've seen some of the plants reflowering. So like there's like this big yarrow plant that was just about to like reflower again. And I'm like, okay, well that's not right because they should be done their cycles, but since with the warm weathers, the rain, they think it's spring, so they, you know, put all their energy back into flowering, which is not good because we know winter's gonna be coming, so they won't have enough time, they won't have any pollinators, they won't have anything, so the flower's kind of wasting energy in that sense, which will make the plant weaker, which will make the medicine weaker in the long run. For water quality, along with forestry logging, so especially in Quebec with the government, they don't listen to the rules too much. So when they have their streams, they're supposed to make 20 meters from each waterways, but when you're in the bush, there's no really anyone watching you, so it's kind of just like a kind of take care of yourself. I think that word is. I forget what the word is, yeah. But you take care of your yourself up there. So kind of like the guardians are the only ones, which is usually just at least in our part of the little territory that we patrol is KZ. That's just reporting these things that we see. So what they do is they'll cut too close to the water, or they'll cut too close to the creeks, so that is less shade, which with the hot weather warms up the creeks. The creeks then don't have enough of the little bugs in there, and then brook trout also don't like warm water. And when you have to make roads to cross over these streams, they don't install the culverts properly. So what you're supposed to do is get a proper size culvert that's big, put down some rocks, and then some sand, and then geotextile so it stays secure. But really what they'll do is they'll just kind of dig out, put their culvert in, put sand on top, and then that's it. So when rain comes, or when people, if it's a really active road, a lot of the sand gets into the stream, which clogs up it, and also then the fish, like the brook trout, they don't like sandy waters. They like cold, rocky pebble grounds. So now they have to find somewhere else to go, which is, a big issue. Something that could be as simple, which anyone could do, which I've seen for myself. I just cleared out a culvert area. I tried to stack up some rocks to keep the sand from going in. And then the next year when I went there in November, I saw for my first time brook trout going through the culverts. So, it's something as simple as that, is just, just take care of the land. It's, it just needs a little help, that's all. And it will kind of, take care of itself better than we can do, but we can, if you help. Yeah. So that's why, volunteers like you guys are very important, dedicating your time to this, it means a lot. Climate change here. It does a lot. For the last 5 years, winters in December have been very mild, and that's in my lifetime. So it's not, 20, 50, 100 years ago. It's happening very rapidly. I haven't had a good winter season where the snow used to be about this deep where I'm from. You might get that now in February or the end of January if you're lucky. So yeah, it's too warm and too wet, and that's not good for the plants because you're messing up their internal biological clock that they have going on. It also makes the quality of the wigwas, the birch bark, the kijik, the cedar. The cedar becomes twisted, doesn't grow straight. The wigwas, if you've seen Panuck or ever heard them talk about it, starts to get big bubbles on it, and that's not good because it creates those weak spots. And plus, with the forestry, they don't care about birch, so it's kind of like they'll just ruin the bark on it, cut it, so now when it grows you get this big scar which you can't use for anything. So there's that I've been noticing. I've been trying to get birch bark pieces this year, just from logs that are cut from the forestry companies who left them there for 3+ years, so they're basically also wasting wood. So if you think that they're collecting all the wood they cut, they don't. They leave it there, and sometimes they just leave it and don't bother it, and now it rots. There's a lot of rotten parts. My coworker Dean has been noticing that a lot, and she's been asking me about it, and that's the same question I had when I first started. I was like, well, why is this wood all here? It's turning gray, there's mushrooms growing on it, and really it's just more of a money thing rather than actually using everything that you take. So that kind of creates a little hassle, you know, it's kind of like difficult to see every day when you're out there. The spruce, I haven't seen any good spruce forests due to with the climate change making it warmer. We have the spruce bugworm, and it's in Gracefield, which isn't too far from Nagadjitòdjig, so it's like slowly making its way up. It's very hard to get spruce roots. I've tried over the past 2 months to just look for nice sandy areas, but a lot of it's filled with plantations or jack pine, or just jack pine, so you can't really use that because it's not as strong as spruce. Plus the roots get weak because with the climate change, the spruce has all these warmer weather, the bugs, so it's spending more energy trying to save itself, so it takes it from its roots because that's where its power comes from, is from its roots. So then the roots get weak, which you can't really use.
And like, there's such tangible examples of climate change. Like, this is how it's impacting. So just something as straightforward as making a canoe. All of these pieces are required for it, and without a healthy environment, you're losing all of those key ingredients. So amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to remember.
The Directio had quite an impact on what I've observed. What did you observe something after that? Like I witnessed the Directio happening across our pond, and it was quite forceful, and it took down a huge, massive pine on our place.
I don't think the Directio affected the area in Kitigan Zibi. There was a big storm. What's the name of the storm that?
Okay. Yeah, like I've seen maybe like some trees fall, but nothing major. Just normal, I guess.
Like in our area, we have it major, and the mouth of the front neck was getting pretty bad.
I wanted to give Amber a chance to answer that question before we move on. And I'm not sure about time, so when we have to wrap up, just be like, whoop.
We're good for time?
We want to hear from you, Amber.
Okay. Can you tell me the question again?
I bring it up just because I knew that might be coming. From your perspective, what are the ways climate change might be impacting the rivers and the land? And again, is there a role for guardians to be playing in understanding and addressing these trends? Easy, right?
So I guess what's coming up for me, our program the last couple weeks, we have been harvesting whitefish for our elders in our community. And growing up, you know, I heard my grandparents tell me that when the tamaracks turn color, that helps us know when the whitefish are ready. And so it was interesting this year because we actually were able to put out, go out and harvest for the whitefish 3 weeks, and the whitefish weren't spawning yet. And so the trees have been turned for a while. So that kind of it makes me think about when you said two-eyed seeing, where our elders and our knowledge holders, they've observed the land change over time, so they have this unique perspective, and I think it's important when we're talking about, you know, developments in our territory and the impacts to our people and to the land, and the perspective that they can bring. I think it's important. So that's, in my experience, how guardian programs can, you know, report on climate change. And then another big part of the programs is working with our community and making sure that we understand what their concerns are. So, for example, we meet monthly with our advisory committee, and we hear what they're concerned about, and we share about the work we're doing. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of what I think when I think about how guardian programs can record and observe and, you know, help with the data around climate change.
Yeah, and addressing directly to your community.
Yeah.
For the people who are living there, and help them understand what's happening, but also be able to go out and help answer those questions.
Yeah.
Can we just share how awesome these two are?
1 or 2 questions. So if you have a question for Amber or for Dolcy about the work they're doing with Guardians programs. Oh, Verna, yes.
One of the things we were impacted with last year was the forest fire, and we were close to being evacuated. So again, I don't know what, like the Guardians to future, can they play a role in terms of, like you were talking about, like the trees being left on the ground, but also too as well the over harvesting too, and that connection.
So I'll just repeat that for you. So doing a live stream. Hello, online viewers. Asking about the wildfires that took place last year and what impact is that having, but also more about what makes that particularly vulnerable. So over harvesting as well as logs being left throughout the forest.
Well, I would like to do more fireworks, because we do have a lot of people who go through like SOFU to fight other wildfires. It only runs down to an issue of staff. Like there's only like 3 of us who are out on the land, and 2 of them are seasonal, so it's just like me and Elmo. What we could do if like, because I have no fire training, but it would be nice to get those people who do have fire training to help either create maps on where there could be potential spots for like fire hazards, or maybe have some kind of like possible evacuation plan if it ever happens like that. I know on the West Coast they do have fire guardians, and there was a time that their fire was coming close to the community, and the guardians had the knowledge and the resources to help evacuate the community to a camp that they had like set up in the woods. Yeah, I would say for that part.
Yeah, we just happened last night to be at the fundraising event I used to have put on in Westboro United Church, raised $14,000, which was fantastic, which is the battle against the putting the burying of nuclear waste quite close to the Ottawa River. And I think it's fantastic that you have the Guardians and the link to the Indigenous people. So I'm just wondering whether that's on the Riverkeeper's map or whether there's collaboration between that, because obviously it's further upstream, but if something happens, we'll feel it too. So I'm wondering whether there's collaboration going on.
So the question is about the near-surface disposal facility proposed and now approved to be built at Chalk River Laboratories. And is there collaboration between Ottawa Riverkeeper and Algonquin communities on this issue? I can start by answering that. So this is an issue that Riverkeeper has been very active on since the NSDF was first proposed in 2016. We have been, we made many submissions to look at this proposal. We've been very active on this. We've intervened in hearings. And recently, when the decision was made to proceed with the NSDF, that Pikwàkanagàn First Nation launched a challenge, a legal challenge to the NSDF on the grounds that they were not properly consulted about the development of the NSDF. And so, Riverkeeper has all sorts of information in our submissions about what we think is of concern in the proposal, where we see that we have been able to achieve some improvements on the proposal over the years as it's gone through different iterations, but that first and foremost we give our allyship and support, and that Pikwàkanagàn First Nation says that they have not been consulted. We stand behind that. So this has been an issue that brings up all sorts of concerns around. There is legacy waste on site. It needs to be better handled, and yet one proposal has been put forward with tweaks throughout. So are there different ways to go about the process? That's probably so. And so, with that, Larissa has been very involved on behalf of Riverkeeper on this file, and so I'll invite that Larissa shares, but also Amber and Dolcy if they'd like to share as well.
So one of the challenges of being able to comment on what's happening at the Chalk River facility is that it's intimidating. The language is very intimidating, getting the information is very intimidating, very technical, and I don't know about anyone here, but not many of us have a background in radioactive waste and how radionuclides work. And so that can be a major barrier for people to understand what's happening. So we work through the funding that is made available through the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission, and when we receive that funding, it doesn't go towards our time, it goes towards time when we're able to hire experts to provide information to us and provide us technical reports or reports on them. Some of those people might be present in this room right now. The thing that we do in collaboration is we share those reports with, we shared it with Kitigan Zibi, we've made it available when we have them to other folks because they also receive funding, and the more that we can do to help break that down and explain what our positions are, there's a lot of conversations that happen. They're not formal collaborations, but there's conversations that happen throughout this whole process. And that's another way that we have worked on these pieces. We also understand that there's going to be differences in the way that we're able to comment or what we're going to focus on. And so by sharing that information and sharing what direction we're heading in, we can be very open with other organizations and also Algonquin communities in the watershed. Not on the radio, not on Chalk River. That's not something that we collect data on. Again, there's this, like the people who are collecting data for us around water quality pieces, around total phosphorus. There's some folks collecting water quality data, but radionuclides, it's personally very expensive to do the analysis for. And also, there's a piece there about who is responsible for gathering that data and sharing that data. And I really feel like not just the industry, but the Canadian government should be making those pieces of information available. You can ask for the environmental report that they do every year from Chalk River. It is over 100 pages, usually closer to 2. So again, if you want to spend the time looking at it, you can. There's really fantastic organizations in the watershed who help break that down for folks. So.
Now, with your program, do you supply the materials to collect the samples from the Riverkeepers?
So there's great questions coming up about our community science programs. Because of time, I'm going to close us on the panel. But we do have, in fact, one of the booths today is about our community science program. And so we'll have a few minutes at the end where, you know, the last few treats will be available and you can have one last look at the community booth. So I want to pass it back to Maxime, our trustee MC, to close the panel.
Can we please give a huge thank you to Amber, Dolcy, and Larissa for such a fascinating panel. I know I definitely learned a lot, and I hope you did too. Peut-être aurez-vous de la difficulté à y croire, mais nous sommes déjà à la fin de notre programme. To close up this event, I would like to once again invite Laura Reinsborough, Ottawa Riverkeeper's very own Riverkeeper and CEO, to say a few words to close out the event.
Miigwech to Verna, miigwech to Dolcy, to Amber. We're so grateful to have your words shared today. Thank you so much to Margot, who spoke on behalf of the board, of course to David on behalf of Dentons. Merci aussi à Maxime, our MC. Maxime and I co-MC'd last year, and it became very clear he was the MC. That radio voice, my goodness. And so he stepped into that this year. Thanks, Maxime. I also want to again say thank you to Dentons, also to Bytown Catering, who is giving us the space to gather today. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank all of you. You've heard me talk about how amazing you are, but I truly mean it. This work really is not possible without all of you and so many more people. Know that we're part of a thriving community making this happen. I want to point you to, there's a few tables at the back with QR codes promoting our annual report. It is hot off the press. You can get a digital copy using the QR code. Donc, notre rapport annuel, c'est maintenant disponible. Il y a des codes QR sur les tables. Donc, si vous voulez avoir le rapport annuel, c'est maintenant disponible. And that will tell you a lot more details about what's been accomplished this year, and you'll probably see your work in it too. So, with that, for this celebration today, I also want to thank the star of the show, the river. Here we are, surrounded by this incredible, mighty Kichizibi. Do you feel its energy? Do you feel that? So thank you, river, for sustaining us and for giving us so much. Thank you all for giving back to the river. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful end of the event. Thank you again. Merci encore pour de nous joindre aujourd'hui. Puis voilà, les tables sont encore ouvertes pour quelques minutes. Il y a de la nourriture, la bonne bouffe disponible. Donc, with that, we will close the official program.